arrived in New England. Thank you to everybody who welcomed our accepted students and their families so warmly over the past 2 weeks. We had a record year in admissions, a sub 25% acceptance rate, and a yield over 50%. We have collectively built an incredibly special place, and not surprisingly, record numbers of families want to be part of it. So congratulations and thank you. This week we will have a Passover Seder here on campus, and then next weekend brings Easter Sunday. Spring Parents Weekend is approaching a week from Friday, and the calendar is filled with traditional spring events as we head to commencement, which is on Memorial Day weekend. Today's chapel will begin with Sean Clark, and after Henry Schiffen speaks, we will be dismissed. Sean.
Hi, my name is Sean Clark. I'm a PG from Westport, Connecticut. And when my parents first brought the idea of a PG year, I was completely against it. Granted, I didn't really know what it was. The idea of doing another year at high school in my mind was crazy, but here I am. And I can confidently say that it has been a year I don't regret. I have learned and grown a lot. Myself and the other PGs have learned some lessons that may seem obvious to other kids, like how running milk miles or dancing around a pile of bananas shirtless may not be the best idea. But I have also learned a lot of other things, like time management. At my old high school, being a few minutes late for class had no repercussions, so that became a habit. I wish I could say I was able to quickly adjust here at Suffield, but that would be a lie. I had a significant number of tardies in the first 2 semesters, which definitely did make Saturday nights fun. Although I got to know the teachers with attention duty pretty well, there are a few other ways I prefer to spend my Saturday nights. In this 3rd trimester, I only have 1 tardy to date, which is a good improvement. Unfortunately, it was to Coach Brissett's class. It was one of the last teachers you want to be late to. This year was also my first time not already knowing the kids I'll be going to school with, besides Paul and Declan, who I met a few times over the summer. Me and most of the PGs became friends pretty quickly. Through football in the dorm, it became a quick and easy transition, which I'm happy to have experienced because I'll have to do it again next year at Richmond. The only person I didn't immediately get off on the right foot with was Jackson. I don't know exactly why this was. Maybe it was because he always was leaving his stuff in my room, including his famously bad smelling socks. But we got over that pretty quickly. The friends I made this year I will definitely stay in touch with. We've become pretty inseparable. So as much as it pains me to say, my parents were right, as they are an annoying amount of the time. This year was a good year for me both personally and athletically. I learned a lot, met some great people, and I can honestly say I'm happy to be at Suffield Academy. Thank you. And next up, we have Colby Paul.
Thank you, Sean. That was a great speech.
Hi, Suffield. My name is Paul Fuller, and I'm a PG from Larchmont, New York.
My name is Colby Spencer, and I'm a PG from Pembroke, Mass.
We both decided to take a PG year to further our academics as well as our athletics. Due to COVID, visiting schools was tough because it did not give us a great idea of what life at a boarding school would be like.
However, Suffield had a very welcoming energy. We also knew students that went here in the past and had a great experience. After talking to those kids and visiting Suffield, it made it clear that this was the right school for us.
Coming to a new school was hard because we have never been the new kids at school before. The scary transition was immediately made easier when the first day of preseason for football started. It was clear right away that a strong bond was going to be formed with our teammates and the PGs on our team.
For being in Spencer dorm, it was easier to be with the football PGs because all of them lived there except one. Unfortunately, Paul was the only football PG that was not in Spencer. It was hard for Paul to come to Spencer due to the COVID restrictions for no visitors, but we still tried to make it work.
However, I learned quickly that sneaking into Spencer dorm and hiding under Sean Clark's bed would get me in trouble. I was faced with the decision to move to Spencer to serve detention if I was caught sneaking in again. After my old roommate, Leighton Lee, enrolled at Elon early, I felt the time was right for me to move in and live with more of my PG friends. Although the decision to leave Fuller was difficult, I wanted to make sure to avoid additional detention hours as I already spent many Saturdays in detention. Living in Spencer with Sean Clark has been great so far, outside of a few sanitary issues he could work on.
When school started up, we were happy to meet a few of the other PGs, and we quickly developed a strong relationship with them also. Even though Finn, Ford, and Jack lived in Fuller, we still made time to hang out with them either in the lunchroom or out of class. The times we had our most fun was in our PG leadership class. It was a great way to get to know each other. Shout out to Miss Yeager and Coach Zane for always being in our corner whenever we needed them.
As a group, we have taken 3 trips off campus to each other's houses. These trips were all great bonding experiences for us and give us a chance to see each other outside of the school environment. The first trip we took was to Owen McKiernan's house in New Hampshire over the fall long weekend. The two very memorable moments of our stay there were the delicious homemade pizza Mama Jen made us, and Colby breaking Owen's ping pong table because he was upset that he lost a game of ping pong. Owen, we miss you.
Another trip we took was to Houston, Texas. After spending 10 hours in DC, we finally made it to the Owsley residence. A great experience on our first day was when we took a trip to the NASA virtual reality activity. This was almost cut short due to us being threatened multiple times to ask to leave if we did not stop causing a ruckus. The next day was very eventful as we shot for cowboy boots and hats. This led up to us going to a rodeo where we rode a mechanical bull and found out Finn is secretly disgusting at the Texas two-step. The following day, the boys headed to the course, even though Finn and I were the only experienced golfers. So Manny's parents decided to have us go on the family nine so we would not cause any problems. But as you know, that did not go as planned. We made a rule that none of us would ever get in a golf cart again with Jake. The trip was a lot of fun, and shout out to Lauren Carey for picking us up from the airport when we did not have a ride back.
Coming off our amazing dance and telethon, we decided to celebrate a great semester by spending the weekend at Colby's house. Our stay was full of fun activities, including watching Colby's younger brother's playoff basketball game, getting into a heated 6v6 bowling match, eating out at a nice hibachi restaurant, and more. Sitting in the front row of the basketball game was not our best decision, as the ref did not appreciate our comments on his calls. While we were out to eat, we learned that Spencer turns bright red when he eats anything remotely spicy, and that Jackson can be short-tempered with hibachi chefs. In the evening one night, we got to play baseball in Colby's backyard because he has fantastic outdoor lighting. Jake decided to fall asleep early that night because he was frustrated about being exceedingly bad at baseball and woke up distraught and cold from a leak in Colby's ceiling. Jake, I'm sorry to inform you that there was actually no leak in the ceiling. The leak was a massive cup of water launched at you by Jackson while you were sleeping. We also learned that Mansfield is likely allergic to Colby's cat due to him being deathly sick all weekend.
We are both extremely grateful to be at Suffield, and that has brought us all together. We've developed a strong relationship with each other, and we are both proud to call all of you guys our brothers. Also, we'd like to thank our families for supporting us through this process and making a PG year possible. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nobody is perfect. Probably all of us adhere to saying it many times in our lives. Everybody would say it's obvious, it's true. Everybody makes mistakes and has flaws. But let's think about that for a moment. Does our modern life not tell us that everybody needs to be thriving, successful, always good looking, fighting against aging, young, wealthy, healthy, and happy? We're privileged here. Yes, we are still young, at least most of us. Yes, many come from wealthy families. We should be grateful for that every day. Yes, most of us are healthy, thank God. But are we all happy? When it comes to me, this very much depends on the time of the day. Please don't ask me in the morning. But on a more serious note, my weakness is obvious. It can be seen from a distance. It's my weight. It's been always like that, even back to kindergarten. I was the tallest, biggest, and strongest amongst the kids. I was always teased and bullied because of it. And honestly, I thought I was wrong. I worked hard to lose weight. If you want to know anything about healthy nutrition, I can tell you all, went through all of it. Knowing what's good for you, though, doesn't mean you're able to do it. Then one day, I started playing football. That's where my size and weight are my strengths, where my team not only accepts me, how I am, but even wants me for what I thought would be my most pronounced weakness. It's been a great and rewarding experience that helped me understand that being different can also be a source of strength, something I can build upon. Being big and emotionally sensitive, are these imperfections? After all, maybe not. Maybe it's just me, who I am. Maybe there are some other strengths coming out of it that would have never flourished. It all depends how you look at it and how you deal with it. But embracing who you are can be tough. For most of us, a constant journey, sometimes for our whole lives. Is it worth trying? I believe so, definitely. Am I still struggling? Yes, sometimes. But even more often, I acknowledge it and I can be proud of myself. For some of us, our flaws and weaknesses are more obvious than for others, but we all have them. What's your flaw? What's your weakness? What is it that you're launching to change about yourself, but constantly shows your limits? What is it you rather want to hide, but maybe can make you stronger once you embrace it? What makes you imperfect? What is it that makes you imperfect? That makes you human? Because we all know nobody's perfect. That's my thought for you today. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Yugo Lee, and I am a 3-year senior from Osaka, Japan. As I was leaving chapel last week, my advisor, Ms. Nigro, told me to stay behind to remind me about my chapel speech for today. She explained how it was an important part of my senior year at Suffield and strongly suggested that I start as soon as I got back to my room after school. So, right after the long G period on Monday, I rushed to my room, sat at my desk, opened my computer, and watched Fortnite videos since building was finally back. Anyways, this is me regretfully sitting on my couch yesterday night writing this speech. Today, I'm going to share some of the most memorable moments I had with my roommate this year, Uno, who's not come back from his long spring break yet. During the middle of my summer break last year, I received an email from Mr. Lynch about my housing information for my senior year. I didn't pay too much attention to it until I realized I had to choose my roommate. So I at first put my choice as a single until Uno called me that night. While we were talking, I was wondering why he would want to room with me, since we were in a few classes together, but we had very different interests and personalities. But after the long 2-minute call, we decided to room. As I was excited to come back for the first time in about 2 years, I unpacked all my things from my suitcase and set up the room. And of course, I received a text from him saying he was not coming back for the first few weeks of school because of COVID. However, after he decided to come back, our crazy journey began. Our long soccer career sadly ended after the first game we both played in. We had both realized that fall term was an important time in our senior year, and we had to start focusing on school. So we had both told the coaches regretfully that we had other focuses at that point of the term, and decided to focus on school and college work. Although we were initially going to work on our college applications, we started to play FIFA, since we both knew that it was the only game we both played in common from sophomore year. So for about a week from then, we would sit on the couch from right after school until study hall to see who was better. But obviously this did not have to do anything with anything for college applications, so we had to stop playing until all our applications were submitted. Another memorable thing that me and Uno did together was cooking noodles, where we would find the spiciest noodles and try them. And trust me, when we say it's spicy, it's spicy. However, the first week back from winter vacation, I don't know what we were thinking, but we happened to cook the noodles right under the fire alarm and set it off, bringing the whole dorm outside in the cold. So I want to take this time to apologize to the students and dorm parents of Fuller Hall for being so careless. Although me and Uno still do not have much in common, we became really close this year through our crazy experiences. And even though we don't help each other to be productive with schoolwork, we tend to get everything done on time. And I want to end this speech by thanking my advisors, Mr. Coates and Ms. Nigro, all my teachers, and all my other friends for keeping up with my crazy personality. Thank you.
Hello friends, hello family, hello Suffield. I know most of you know me, but in these days of COVID, I'd like to introduce myself. I am the tall Scandinavian teenager with long hair who loves to eat food and roll like mad. I know, if there was ever a civilized Viking, I would fit this stereotype perfectly. But my name is Joshua Mingo, and I'm a 3-year senior from Denmark. Growing up in Copenhagen, one of the most influential people to me was Hans Christian Andersen, who has written some of the most wonderful fairy tales. As a kid, one of them in particular resonated with me, one I'm sure most of you are quite familiar with, The Tale of the Ugly Duckling, where Mr. Andersen concludes in his final lines, "Being born in a duck yard does not matter if only you are hatched from a swan's egg." Taking this to heart, I always carried this phrase with me, but without full comprehension of what it actually means. Not until I first heard the words, "to be rather than to seem," here at Suffield. I clearly understood now that all the perceptions and places people wanted to put you in does not matter. All this phony stuff doesn't really matter. If only you hold on to the fact that you're a swan egg, each and every single one of you. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about Denmark, starting firstly by clearing up one thing. Denmark is not full of mountains. It's farmland, with the highest point being 560 feet above sea level. Yes, I know, there's basically no skiing whatsoever. Secondly, we have some interesting traditions, like burning a witch on a bonfire at St. Hans, which is on Midsummer's Eve, because it gives good luck for the next harvest. Thirdly, we have no word for please. Yeah, I know, you guys did not expect that one, but especially with Denmark being one of the happiest countries in the world, right? But what people don't tell you is that this is the same country that has some of the highest prescription rates for antidepressants. Not to mention the alcohol embedded within our fine culture. So I say to you this, there's always stuff beneath the surface, and that's okay. I encourage you to acknowledge them to yourself, because even though you shouldn't, you and I can at times lie to people you don't know. Or you can lie to friends, or you can even lie to family members. But never, please never, lie to yourself. And now, I know for the people who still do not know where Denmark is, yes, I'm looking at about 96% of the American population in here, because you guys cannot find anything on a map you haven't gone to war with. It's north from Germany and east from England, which means there's a lot of spring, a lot of fall time, and it does get cold. But we do not have a lot of snow. What we do have are warm summers that are not too hot. We have Legos. Jesus, you guys do not know how many hours I spent building Legos. Absolutely crazy. For anyone who does not know, Denmark invented Legos. And we have open-faced sandwiches, which is probably the best food in the world. Probably. I will also send out an email where you can see a couple of images about Denmark and Danish culture on all school emails, and you can look at that at your convenience. I wish to leave with some encouragement here at the end of my speech, as I find the thought of death to be the most motivating factor out there for me. So I beg you that you enjoy life at Suffield, at home, wherever you are, for there's plenty of time to be dead. And now, with my final words, I'd like to greet you all in Danish. Tusind tak. Det er utroligt, hvor meget I alle har betydet for mig. Jeg kan ikke tro, det næsten er over, men jeg håber, at vi alle ses igen, efter det sidste lys er slukket. Farvel, og på gensyn. Thank you.
Great afternoon. Oh, Henry.
Hello everyone, my name is Henry Schiffen and I'm a 4-year boarder here at Suffield Academy. Last Wednesday, I was at the King's School for a lacrosse game. After a devastating loss, I was walking back to the bus when I noticed a purple rectangle sitting in a puddle. I was curious. I walked over to see what it was. I'd found a book called Ricky and Buster. To be honest, I picked it up because I thought it was funny. The soaked book was unable to be opened, just a soggy mess. After a few days, it finally dried, and I was able to separate the pages and take a look at what was actually inside. Despite being a children's book, the message made me stop and think, and now I'd like to read this book for y'all. Ricky named his parrot Buster. Every day, he played with Buster and taught him to do tricks. Ricky taught Buster to sit on his hand and to ring a bell. He taught Buster to swing on a swing and to climb a ladder. Buster was a very smart bird. He learned every trick that Ricky taught him. He learned every trick except one. Buster wouldn't learn to talk. "Come on, Buster, say pretty bird," Ricky begged, but Buster was silent. So Ricky tried to teach Buster something else. Hello, Buster," he said over and over, but Buster kept his beak shut. Buster didn't say anything. He didn't say good morning, he didn't say good night. He didn't even say, "Give me a cracker." Not one word came out of his beak. Every day after school, Ricky ran to his room to play with Buster and to try to teach him to talk. Every day, Ricky's father said, "Do your homework first." "Okay, Dad," Ricky said, but he was busy showing Buster how to hang upside down, and he forgot. Every evening, Ricky's mother reminded him, "Do your homework." "Right away, Mom," Ricky said, but he was busy trying to make Buster say, "I want a cookie," and he forgot. Every day, Ricky's parents said, "Do your homework," but every day, Ricky was busy showing Buster new tricks and trying to teach him new words. And every day, he forgot all about his homework. His grades in school got worse and worse. One day, Ricky's teacher called his parents, and they had a long talk. Ricky's parents talked to Ricky. "We know you love Buster," they said, "but you have to do your homework. You can't play with Buster until your grades get better." Sadly, Ricky went to his room. Buster was hanging upside down from the light. "I'm sorry, Buster," Ricky said, "but we can't play now. I have to do my homework." Sadly, Ricky got his books out of his bag. Sadly, he sharpened his yellow pencils. Sadly, he started on his reading homework. Buster watched him from the light. Ricky was sad, but Buster was angry. Buster wanted to play. "Do your homework," squawked Buster suddenly. "What?" said Ricky. "Do your homework," squawked Buster, again, swinging back and forth on the light. "Buster, you talked," shouted Ricky. So Ricky opened his book and began to read. "A is for apple," he read. "B is for bird." "Pretty bird," said Buster. "C is for cookie," Ricky said. "I want a cookie," said Buster. So Ricky did his homework, and Buster learned to talk. Then they both got to play. In the end, Ricky and Buster made me realize that great friends bring out the most important parts of ourselves. Surrounding yourself with good friends will make you a better person. That's why I'm so glad to be at Suffield Academy, a place where the whole community is like great friends. Every day, every student and every faculty member work together to actively grow as individuals and as a community as a whole. Thank you.